Good morning and good day, everybody. Hello. Woo! I'm Steve Farrell. I'm a co-founder and the executive director of Humanities Team, and we're coming to you live. I'm coming to you from our studio here in Boulder, Colorado. You can see my wonderful friends here on screen, also in Boulder, Colorado, Jonathan and Andi Goldman. And we have such a huge program for you today. Oh my goodness. World Sound Healing Day. So today, Valentine's Day is World Sound Healing Day. They were just sharing with me their 22nd World Sound Healing Day. Oh, can you believe it? So welcome to you all. So good to have you with me, Jonathan and Andi. So before I throw the mic at you, just a couple of real quick things. I want to just welcome all of our friends out there. So World Sound Healers Association, all of these organizations that Jonathan and Andi have started that have to do with sound healing. So, and then our Humanities Stream Plus friends that are here in the green room with us, I'll just wave at you because they can see us live and they can actually come on screen and talk to us. Our Humanities Team friends out on Facebook, on YouTube. And then our Sign.network friends, John, who leads the Sign.network. Big shout out to you and all of our friends that they broadcast to across so many Facebook platforms. So very exciting to have the Sign Network with us here today too. So it's a live program and want to share with you all. That means that you can bring questions back to us. We have a really full hour here, but we're going to get to some questions. So if you have questions or comments for Jonathan and Andi, just throw them in on Facebook, on YouTube. Just throw them in the chat there. And if you're in the studio, you can raise your hand and we'll try and get those to Jonathan and Andi before the hour's out. So, okay, and again, our theme, World Sound Healing Day, and welcome again, Jonathan and Andi. Congratulations on, I know how much work it is. All of us in Humanities Team do, because of course we have our Global Oneness Summit. So boy, congratulations, a 22nd World Sound Healing Day. And let's talk about this big day, you know, why it's so important. And so over to you, Jonathan and Andi.
Well, first of all, Steve, Humanities Team, we love you guys. Thank you so much for giving us this beautiful opportunity because it is indeed our 22nd World Sound Healing Day, and our hearts are full today.
And indeed, with regard to World Sound Healing Day, there are over 150 different events occurring throughout the planet on this day, but this is really a focal point for us because at the top of the hour, we're going to be doing a vocal toning for planetary peace and healing, if you like, sending a Sonic Valentine to the Gaia Matrix, our Mother Earth, which is basically, if you like, the concept when we first began World Sound Healing Day was to do just everybody all over the place did one sound at one place, and it became a little bit more, shall we say, less globally oriented if you try to do one thing at one time when the planet has so many different time zones and it's such different things.
But we have, over the years, and you can imagine the different iterations that have happened, we started out with sounding and toning the ah sound at a particular time during the day. And of course, that is the sound of the heart and the sound we make when we are in love or we see something beautiful. Ah, so we chose that sound. However, now that it's 22 years later, we have included every sound.
There's all sorts of activities, and we'll be talking about those after we do the odd sound, so that's after the top of the hour. But right now, just want to tell you a little bit about how this whole shebang began.
Right.
And that was probably somewhere right around 2001 when we were deep meditation. And we'd both been working with using sound as a healing modality for people. Andi is a psychotherapist, me is a whatever I am. And we got the, if you like, instructions that we now needed to expand our horizons and include the use of sound for planetary healing, which at the time was, wow, we thought this is a great idea. Wow. How do you do that? And transmission got cut off.
And so we had to figure out, wait a minute, now how are we going to use our intentionalized sound? And we really go back to that formula that Jonathan created: frequency plus intent equals healing. So we knew that we wanted to encode our sound, whatever sounds we were making, with the intention of healing the planet and bringing harmony and balance to our beloved Mother Earth and all sentient beings. And so how are we going to do that?
And we ultimately decided on a name. World Sound Healing Day could have been any name. That was the name that we had a group of people at the time, and that was the one that seemed to be bounced back and forth. Hey, a pretty well-known Australian sound healer at the time said, "Hey, mate, how about World Sound Healing Day?" So that's a do. And then we decided on doing Valentine's Day, because it's a day that is so filled with oftentimes love. And it turns out, Steve, I had forgotten this, but our organization, the Sound Healers Association, was actually founded on Valentine's Day of 1980. So wow. This is, I think, the 44th anniversary of the Sound Healers Association as well. And then once again, what are we going to do? What sort of sound? And the idea initially was to work with the sound, as Andi was saying. We're going to do that at noon New York time, which is great, except that if you're in Japan or whatnot, that's not very convenient. So, we let that go. But this is one that we're really happy to be really imbibing again for various reasons that we'll talk about a little later. But we want to talk about the purpose of World Sound Healing Day.
Absolutely. The purpose that, that the foundation, the reason that we created and facilitated World Sound Healing Day was to bring peace to our planet. And of course, every year we always say, and now our planet needs it more than ever. And this year we can really wholeheartedly say that. And being able to raise the consciousness of our planet, and that is what World Sound Healing Day is really about. And, it's beautiful because, Steve, with Humanity's team, we are all on the same page with wanting to raise the consciousness of our planet and all the beings on our planet. So that was our basic purpose.
Just in my cup of tea today, the fortune was unity is the way of grace and harmony. Thought, how lovely is that? And, we're talking about, as we call this, global harmonization, the idea of projecting an intentionalized sound to interface with what could be called the noosphere, or the Gaia Matrix, or if you like, the field of the planet, the field of planet Earth. And as I know that you and the Humanities team and anybody who's tuned in is aware, I mean, you do such wonderful work, for example, through Global Oneness, Summit Week, Day, etc. The idea of really creating a coherent, if you like, energetic field that raises the vibrations of all sentient beings. Recently, I was in very deep meditation. I was going, okay, what can I do to really enhance this? Because the planet is sometimes challenging. That's a kind word for it. And what I received back is really the best thing that at least you can do is help put out a frequency encoded with the energy of compassion, kindness, love, out to feed the field. And perhaps this frequency or frequencies, this sound, this encoded sound, can somehow shift and change, if you like, the emotional toxicity of anger, and do the change the scream of anger to just the cry of love, just smoothing it out a little bit. And maybe it's just a little shift in the vibratory field, but it might be enough to make a difference.
Let me even come in. I'll share
that is
just to kind of
our hope that it will make a difference.
Steve, sorry.
Yeah. No, just the way we look at this and think of this, because there's such a, as you mentioned, just a beautiful intersection. Increasingly, largely because of the work so many people are doing around the world. You all are doing, we all are doing, but so many people in this conscious, transformational space. There's this recognition that Valentine's Day actually is perfect for this day, because the separated self we're realizing is just a fiction. It's like, oh my, we grew up with this crazy fiction, Newtonian, Darwinian. We're separate. We're just our body. We have one lifetime. We all grew, or almost everybody, except for the few Sufis out there, grew up with this understanding. And here we find out, oh my gosh, it's not true at all. There's no such thing as a separated self. So yes, of course, with our honey, some roses and a nice card and balloon and these things on Valentine's Day. But now we're finding out, the separated self is a fiction. So here with World Sound Healing Day, where we're saying, well, no, our bigger self is our true self, and the earth, as you mentioned, needs our attention. The world, these 8 billion people, my goodness, they need our attention, right? So World Sound Healing Day is with this intention and these beautiful frequencies of unity, of love, of compassion, of oneness, of healing, of health, of well-being, right? Where it just is like this wave that's just encapsulating and enclosing and embracing the earth, where people are like, whew, gosh, I feel something here. There's something new afoot here. It feels like that's how World Sound Healing Day feels to me, because it's a spiritual universe, which that means it's a vibrational universe. And if it's a vibrational universe, that brings in world sound healing, with our intention and these beautiful harmonics and toning, these things that you all do that just are very healing, and where we can feel this health and well-being and all of that. I'll stop with that, but that's kind of how it feels to me, your World Sound Healing Day.
Oh, thank you for that, Steve, because that is how it feels to us too. And, it's interesting because World Sound Healing Day is a co-creative experience. And so each and every person can participate. And if just even one person participates, it's going to affect the whole.
Right.
And so our sounds and our intentionalized sound, really, we do feel can make a difference.
Right. And you're talking about the interconnectedness of us all. It really is ultimately an illusion to perceive of our separation. I want to bring in two concepts briefly, just that so totally resonate. But one of them, it's so funny because I've heard this on a couple of different major, TV offerings. I think one was a Golden Globes, and somebody up, and another one I would forget what, but it was this term called Tikkun Olam, which is an ancient Kabbalistic concept, but it simply means repairing the world. And ultimately, this is found in all sorts of different ancient traditions, human working together in meditation and prayer, and also just in kindness to each other to help repair our planet, because it's so very, very necessary. So that's the first one, the idea of repairing the planet, which is what World Sound Healing Day is. And we have, within the last year or so, we've been drawn to a term or a phrase over and over, which is compassionate understanding. And it's just such an important aspect, so that we as humans can literally listen to what other people are saying, and without answering them back, without even hearing, because people so many times, someone will start talking and already you've got the statement back without hearing what they've got to say. If we can listen to what they have to say, and we may not have to agree with it, but if we can listen to it and, without judgment, what a concept. Anything you want to add about that?
Well, I think if we can incorporate compassionate understanding and compassionate listening, what a service we can do to that Tikkun Olam, repairing our planet through our open-heartedness of understanding and listening to everyone. And as Jonathan was just saying, we have to agree with everyone, but let us have a beautiful platform to allow each and every person to share what they want to share without judgment. And that's a very tall order for us human beings, but I think very possible.
Oh, yeah, it is. Because
So
there's
we're
so
gonna-
much divisive. Oh, Steve, please.
We're going to start
interject. I'm
talking
sorry.
about this. There's a beautiful video that Jonathan and Andy are going to start talking about here in a minute, because we've got it queued up to come up at the top of the hour. But I want to just say, too, to kind of put this in context, because you know, years ago people would have said, "Oh, these people, you know, new agey and blah blah blah." But let me just share this. In today's world, we've made reference to, as we know, there's a sense of isolation in many cases, right? A weariness, you know, a challenge, a concern, the whole weather thing, right, and war and so on. And people, this has created, I'll call it a fertile soil, where people are like, you know, there's probably a better way than this. This is probably not where we want to go, right? How we're organizing now on the earth. So I want to suggest the things we're bringing in are the furthest thing from some, you know, just up in the attic, there's a little new age session going on. This is maybe the most important thing I'm going to suggest that we could be talking about in today's world, because where there is this fertile soil, where people are opening themselves to new understandings, to new possibilities, to the science, which we'll get to during this hour. You know, truly what we I think will see and come to is, oh my goodness, you know, the separated self thing really is a fiction. And where there are beautiful things like sound healing, where we can just create intentions and listen to these frequencies that really, you know, as vibrational beings, take us up, elevator right up, you know, to this whole new place where we feel the things that we're talking about here individually, and people that we talk to at the grocery store, in our home, you know, as vibrational beings, people, wherever we go, even here on the air, you can probably feel, you know, there's some energy to this. It's not just our vocal cords. There's some energy to this that we're talking about. And so I'm just going to suggest that what we're talking about here, what we're inviting, what we're visioning, is maybe the most important thing on the whole planet right now, as people are looking for a new way to live their lives in their home and in the workplace and on this beautiful planet of ours. And I'll stop there and just come over to Jonathan and Andy, because we do want to start previewing and talking about this video that we're going to play here very shortly.
Nice, right. And Steve, thank you for that. But so wonderfully in alignment, and perhaps at some point we can just discourse on, well, we will later, but you know, for right now, onto the video. And folks, the reason we are doing a video is because, among other things, if you like, live sonic internet is too fraught with dangers in terms of sounds dropping out. And here's something that's been pre-recorded with special, what are called psychoacoustic effects, to affect the brain and really affect your energy field. And the idea, as we'll talk about, is for you not to listen to it. I mean, it's fine to listen to it, but really work with your intentionalized sound. That is sound that you've encoded with your consciousness, and we trust that your consciousness for this thing will be one of compassion, kindness. And in fact, within the guided meditation that you'll be hearing, that's done by Andi, we co-created that one together. It uses a phenomena called heart-brain coherence.
And with heart-brain coherence, I think many people may be familiar with heart math, which we are so grateful for all the research that they've done. But when we are in coherence, our heart and our brain emit an electromagnetic field that is 5,500, 5,000 times greater, and connecting with all the heart energy on our planet. And so as we're guiding you in this meditation, we'll be doing specific breathing techniques. We'll be focusing on positive, loving intentions. And then we will be sounding the sound.
Right.
And when we get to that part, wherever you are, please out loud sound with the intention of healing our beloved planet on this day.
And the is just, again, it's said to be the sound of the heart center in so many different traditions. And if you think about it, so many of the divine God and goddess names have that ah sound in it. Tara, Buddha, Krishna, Yaheshua, Yahweh, Ah, Ma, Pa. It really is, it seems to have an essential, if you like, encodement that really works with the energy of compassion, kindness, and love.
And so when we are sounding, holding that intention is really key, and we hope that that happens. However, I want to mention that as you are sounding, to stay in your comfort zone, and usually that's right around the conversational voice. So louder is not better. Just be comfortable and just be in that place of knowing that your sound is contributing really to the planetary healing that's happening today.
Well, let me share one thing
and
too.
Once again, also don't be judgmental about your voice, because probably no one but yourself can hear. But really, it's such a good thing to actually vocalize while you're sort of intoning, if you like, and projecting the idea of healing the planet and projecting this energy. Because on a level, there's a reason why a majority of the prayers on our planet are vocalized. So whispered, chanted, spoken, sung, but they are vocalized because sound, vocal sound particularly, amplifies and focuses the power of our prayer. I think it's that simple and that profoundly important that our sounds really help focus and make, if you like, make more powerful whatever our wishes, desires are. And for this one, our wish and desire is to really heal the planet. We want to heal the water. We want to heal the earth. We want to literally shift and change the consciousness of all sentient beings, because after all, everything really is consciousness, isn't it?
Everything is. Boy, let me say this too. Of course, we always share on these programs what has been shared down through the ages, where two or more are gathered, right? Which is World Sound Healing Day, where we're toning. We're going to be doing that together. But let me bring something else in, which is really, I think, hopeful and inspiring. So many of us years ago read the David R. Hawkins book called Power versus Force. Wow, wow, wow. Because you know what? That science brings in what he calls logarithmic activity or power as we grow in consciousness. So you might remember at 200 is where the average is in the world, but it's logarithmic. So as we become more conscious, as we elevate our own consciousness, his scale is 0 to 1,000. Well, now from 700 to 1,000, now that's very high. This is, Buddha, Krishna, and Christ were at 1,000. So, and then there are others, even on the planet today, that are in the 7 to 100,000 range. In that range, because it's logarithmic, our elevated consciousness can impact, the David Hawkins research says, one person, 70 million people on the planet. Whoa! So then you get the two or more are gathered, and you've got people of very high consciousness that are toning. It can just have amazing, just powerful impacts on the whole planet, where people at lower consciousness are like, I don't know what's going on the planet, but I sure feel something. This is what comes out of World Sound Healing Day.
Totally, Steve. We're in alignment, and I'm just going to suggest that I've heard that one person, 7 million people who are in fear and whatnot. 70 million, I like it even better. And you know what? When you get into quantum reality, numbers just are, fluid. But I'd like to suggest that it's about time so that we can all literally this will be 12 o'clock New York time when this happens, but so that we can all be toning, or begin to be toning and focusing some loving, healing sounds to the planet. Let us begin with this video. Everybody just strap in, enjoy it. It's powerful. You can just listen to it, but we ask that you sound along, follow the instructions, because they're quite lovely, and basically project love and light through sound to our beloved Gaia Matrix, Mother Earth. And we'll come back after that and all have a wondrous continued sacred celebration of sound on this World Sound Healing Day.
This is about an 11-minute video. So here we go, and we'll be right back to get into much, much more. Here we go.
The purpose for this meditation is to project a sound encoded with the energies of light and love and project healing to the Gaia Matrix, our beloved planet Earth. We will first create coherence between our heart and our brain. This effect will further be amplified by the power of the sound "ah" that you will be toning along with later, bringing more light and love into your body, mind, and spirit for health and wellness. And now, begin to focus on your breathing. Breathing in and breathing out. Slowly breathing in and out. And as you're breathing in and out, imagine or visualize that you're breathing in and out through your heart. As you're breathing in and out through the area of your heart, remembering that it is love that breathes each breath, and it is love that causes each beat of our heart. Continue breathing slowly, breathing in and out in this manner, and now I'd like you to call to mind something that has brought you a great deal of appreciation, gratitude, something that you are feeling very good about. This might be an experience with another person. Perhaps it's a beautiful sunset. It may be a beloved pet, a spouse. But it is something that has brought you loving kindness and gratitude and appreciation. And as you're breathing in and out through your heart, feeling this appreciation, feeling this gratitude, you're creating a beautiful coherence between your heart and your brain. And your heart, through this coherence, is expanding, getting larger and larger, and connecting with all the heart and loving energy on our planet in this moment. This is just a wonderful way of creating a very powerful heart activation, and you'll be amplifying this with the sound "ah." Continue breathing slowly and deeply while feeling appreciation and gratitude, and imagining your breath going in and out through your heart. Now, visualize this energy and begin to sense a radiant light around you that is permeating every cell of your body and resonating your heart chakra. In a moment, we'll begin to gently sound forth with the "ah" sound together. And as you do this, visualize the planet Earth as a holographic image floating in front of you. Imagine bathing the Earth in a healing field of light and love that you are creating through your sacred sound. Now, let us begin to make the heart sound "ah" together, bringing the energy of global harmonization, peace and healing to our beloved planet, Earth. Now, being in silence, visualizing all the light and love through sound that you have manifested, resonating and bringing to Earth and yourself to a deep state of healing. And when you feel ready, open your eyes and know that you have contributed to personal and planetary healing.
Okay. Oh boy, that was special. Oh goodness, that was very special. Thank you so much for that, Andi and Jonathan. Oh my God, well, you just soar like an eagle on that. You know, as the toning is going to these new heights, huh? That's what it felt like to me. You're just like up at 5,000 feet or maybe higher. Eagles can fly at this really high level, and it felt like that. Felt like, wow, we were just soaring above the earth there, and so beautiful. And as you often share, you know, we heal our world, we heal ourselves, we heal ourselves, we heal our world. So you can see the themes here from the beginning of this program. It's like we're leaving behind this whole shell of a body that thought it was something, you know, just it was its little self, you know, that we're this one body, you know, this one lifetime, and we're now science everywhere, you know, research everywhere is saying, oh my, you know, this is not true, and that there's this bigger self, you know, we're a part of this, the 8 billion people, the Earth, actually the James Webb Telescope, 2 billion times 3 trillion stars. Well, that's what we're part of, right? You know, the cosmos, the universe, we are a part of it. And I love, before I come back to Jonathan and Andi, I love what the scientists share. Okay, I'm going to Sim Harriman. I just, as people often hear me say, you know, he sounds like a preacher, this physicist. You know, he's a physicist. And he says, you are inseparable from the universe and cosmos. Do you know who you are? You know, you ought to be walking around like with perfect posture and feeling empowered and massive smile on your face, because the universe could not exist without you, you know. So that's this World Sound Healing Day, where we're soaring like an eagle up into our bigger self and realizing the smaller self was just a fiction, you know. And that's the beauty of World Sound Healing Day for me is, yes, this is a gorgeous day, but our invitation is to live in this year round. This is our true self, this bigger self. Live in this, and that's why you created this day 22 years ago, isn't it? You know, to come into this whole, we open our eyes to this whole new world, no whole new understanding of life, and we live that way year round, as you all do, right?
In fact, Steve, we've often said every day should be World Sound Healing Day, and you know, each day, you know, holding love in our hearts, holding healing in our hearts, and then sounding can make such a difference. And we know that because the science tells us that we are able to connect to the field, basically.
And I'm just reminded, we have a dear friend, Lama Tashi, who is one of the Dalai Lama's favorite chanting monks, and he's a geshe and all that stuff. And he was telling us that in these different monasteries, they have continuous chanting of the Om Mani Padme Hum chant going on 24/7 in groups, in order to basically generate the sonic energy, the mantra of compassion to the planet. So it is going on in certain more esoteric groups, but boy, if we could do something like that on a continuous basis, it could only be helpful.
And, you know, one of the things that always happens for me whenever I'm doing any kind of sound work, whether it's for global harmonization, whether it's for personal healing. When I begin to even tone, such as the ah sound, the stress level in my body begins to shift and change. And so I feel like today, even just in this brief time of having many of us sounding the ah sound, that we begin to feel our own sense of well-being and that inner balance. And Steve, like you were saying, we were soaring. And so that is what we are feeding the field, basically, is that inner well-being, that inner balance.
And as we go on and talk about the science, I was just guided at the end of that meditation to remind everybody about the work of Masaru Emoto and how he took water and exposed it to different frequencies, different intentionalities, different music, and found that water that had high vibrational aspect, as we were talking about David Hawkins, high vibrational aspect looked like a snowflake, and water that was low vibrational aspect kind of looked like mud. And he was able to take the water from the Fujiwara Dam, which is a polluted dam in Japan, had a Zen Buddhist priest take that water, chant what is known as the Heart Sutra over it for about 20 minutes, re-photograph it, and the mud all of a sudden looked like a snowflake. So the idea that our intentionalized sound can really shift and change the molecular structure of water, and with that, how much of our body is water, how much of our planet is water, how much can our sound interface with all that is. So I wanted to remind people about that because we forget, because that was important stuff and still is.
Well, and healing the waters, and that's reminding me of a dear, beautiful being, Grandma Aggie, who is one of the 13 indigenous grandmothers. And we were with her down in Australia a long time ago, and she was saying that she never walks past a stream, never walks past a body of water, never takes a drink of water without offering gratitude. And so I'm wanting to bring forth the energy of gratitude for today, and well, for every day, but for World Sound Healing Day with our sounds.
And just getting into the science for a moment. Let me let you speak. I'm sorry, Steve. We talked too much.
We have so much to say.
This is the universal consciousness, because I was just going to bring in Bruce Lipton. Science is saying, it's saying science. bring in science. And Bruce Lipton, of course, is a dear friend of you all. Greg Braden, to many of these scientists, and their science is so compelling. Bruce, of course, was a biologist teaching medical school, also a researcher at Stanford. And wow, his research is just so incredibly compelling. It comes in on these things we're talking about, because in today's world, so many of us, again, we grew up with this whole DNA thing of, down through the generations, this thing was passed, DNA to DNA to DNA. I'm sorry, but you're your mother's son, you're your father's son, cancer, all these things. Bruce says, this is a fiction too. He says, no, he's a biologist, so he should know, right? And not only that, but a leading researcher at Stanford, right? And he's saying, oh, geez, no, it's our thoughts. It's these things that we're talking about here now. It's where we place our attention. He wrote this book called The Honeymoon Effect, which the honeymoon effect is all about putting our attention on love, compassion, these things we're talking about, health, well-being, healing. And where we do that, then what his book says and what we know to be true is we live a life that's like a honeymoon. I call it like floating on a raft. We still have challenges, of course, all of us do. But the way we experience those challenges and the way we experience our life is just so vastly different than the way that we grew up, because again, all of us grew up with this, almost all of us, with this Darwinian, Newtonian thing where, today is a bad day, and tomorrow's a good day, just kind of up and down, this mental, emotional up and down, where the things that we're talking about, vibrational beings, all of these things, setting our gratitude, opening to compassion, where once these become ingrained in us through our daily practice, where the world sound healing is a part of our daily practice, these other things that are part of our daily practice, then this is the magical thing, which I believe is why we were born into this world. It wasn't to experience this stuff, you know, of up and down and all of these things. It was to really live in this more magical way that we're discussing. So, okay, we're going to go into more science. I just wanted to bring in a little Bruce Lipton, but I know Jonathan's got other research we're going to go to right now.
Right, but I also just want to, I was just listening to David Hawkins last week, and one of the things he said was basically that intention creates the field. So our intention is so powerful, and once again, that formula, frequency plus intent equals healing, that manifested for me 40 years ago when I brought it out, or sound plus belief equals outcome. We need to be so aware of what our intention, our consciousness is when we make sound, including, as you were saying, the conversational voice can be used for healing. But back to the science for a moment. I want to talk a little bit about the Global Consciousness Project, and that's out of Princeton, New Jersey, been going on for many, many years. And basically what they did, it's led by a man by the name of Roger Nelson, who incidentally, kindly, is going to be basically checking out, as he always does, World Sound Healing Day every year. And the results we trust are going to be as they've been before, because what happens when he's got these devices called random number generators, which are simply computers that either do an equal number of zeros and an equal number of ones. So like flipping a coin, if you flip a coin 100 times, you get 50 heads, 50 tails. And normally 100 times you'd get 50 zeros and 50 ones. But when events of high compassion happen, all of a sudden, all bets are off. The numbers, for some reason, from these random number generators are skewed. They are different. They are affected. They are not random anymore. There are more zeros and more ones. And that's only events of high compassion, not events of high excitement, like the Super Bowl, but high compassion, you know, where you're really thrilled and just in a state of loving kindness. And so if you were to chart an event, a regular event, it would be a straight line because it'd be 50 zeros, 50 ones. But events of high compassion could be charted, and they literally look a little bit like a mountain peak. And that's been what, for example, the World Sound Healing Day has been. So they don't know why this occurs, but it is an amazing phenomenon, which I'm sure is quantum in nature, let alone other groups that are literally checking the electromagnetic field of the planet, the Schumann resonance, and all these other things that are being infected. So we need to realize that we have some sort of ability to co-create with all others and shift and change that which we manifest.
Well, absolutely, Jonathan. And it's reminding me, too, of the Maharishi effect, where the square root of 1% of the population can actually make a difference. And that square root is only, what is it, 180?
No, 8,000 people.
8,000 people. And so, you know, it doesn't take that many people on our planet to really help to shift. So we hope that World Sound Healing Day is going to contribute in that capacity to shift and to open up the hearts and the love of people.
But those 8,000 people have to be high consciousness people.
Right. But also, when we are sounding, speaking of the science, when we are sounding, we know through the research that has been done that our blood pressure is lowered, our heart rate is lowered, nitric oxide is emitted, and what I think is really great, oxytocin, which is the trust hormone. And so when we are in this field of beautiful frequencies of sound, there's this connection because somehow we're trusting those people that we are sounding with and sending that message out to the energy of the planet.
You could say the barriers between people disappear when they sound together. Mm-hmm. How crazy is that?
Boy, just to bring this in too, because of course all these things that we're sharing about our individual experience are so true. But let me bring in the old Stephen Covey, remember his 7 habits, and his habit number 2 each day. Begin with the end in mind, right? Begin with the end in mind. And of course, we work with the mediums and the near-death experience community, and they tell us what the end is. You know, again, it's another area where we grew up with these conceptions. I was in the Catholic Church, and there's a dogma around life and how it ends. Well, the near-death experience community and the mediums are unanimous in what that end really is, right? This is the life review. And the life review is all just people around us, like in this case, Jonathan and Andi, of what are they thinking, seeing, and feeling while they're here with me. You know, so this is what I'm going to at the end of my life, of what the people that were around me, what were they seeing, thinking, and feeling? How did they experience me? Did they experience me as kind of listening and loving and in service, or, arrogant, or what? So the things that we're talking about are not only creating a beautiful day after a beautiful day after a beautiful day and healing that's affecting the world. Now we're getting into just what is the whole purpose of life anyway, and how does it end? And if it's true that it ends that way, where it turns out, oh my gosh, it's not about being a gazillionaire, and having a gazillion planes and yachts. It's not about that. It's about something different. Well, we maybe are going to aim in a little different direction. Maybe we're going to live our life in a little different direction. And then we're bringing in all of the beauty of, it feels so good. Why would we want to live otherwise? So I just wanted to bring that in too. This is why I was saying earlier, this is the furthest thing from a little discussion up in the attic or down in the basement. In my mind, what we're talking about, this is everything. This is everything what we're talking about now. And there's fertile soil for us to, as we're all considering, am I living my best life? Are there things I might do that I'm not doing now? Being states that I might want to experience. We're getting to all of those things here now, and that's what World Sound Healing Day is about.
Well, and that's what World Sound Healing Day is about, and also Humanity's Team is about that as well, Steve, definitely. And, speaking of having so many people, I just wanted to mention that we have today close to, I think, 50 different countries with 150 different groups
great, yes.
being facilitated. And last night I went through our website to look at all the different countries, and we literally have, here, John, let's read some of these together.
Well, the ones that got me, we had Russia and the Ukraine. There were events going on in both those places. See, Croatia,
Israel, Egypt,
Thailand,
Italy,
New Zealand, Australia, lots of them, Germany, keep going.
Oh my goodness.
All over the U.S.
The UK, Denmark, Belgium, Scotland.
Even the Cayman Islands.
And of course, in the United States, we have actually, out of the 50 states, we have over 30 represented with people that are participating, whether they're facilitating or joining a group.
Well, there are, what Andi was saying was actually activities going on there. And we just want to tell people that if they go to worldsoundhealingday.org after this show is over, they may be just amazed at the plethora, at the extraordinary, if you like, a smorgasbord of sound that is being delivered throughout this planet, throughout the stay. And it's a pretty amazing phenomenon. You can have a Grammy Award-winning artist. You can have basically meditators. You can have just all sorts of things. I can't even begin to list because there isn't enough time. But I just want to suggest go to worldsoundhealingday.org after this, and you will find some amazing things to continue this sonic journey on the stage.
Let me share too, and I will do that, and we'll be toning in this home. And again, Jonathan and Andi live right here in Boulder. I might hear them down the street, and they might hear me. So I want to share, they have, I was checking this morning, there's a search feature on this conscious global streaming platform that we have. It's called Humanity's Stream Plus, and I checked this morning, and they have 75 programs right now on Humanity Stream Plus. So master classes, global oneness summits, World Sound Healing Days, this toning, the beautiful toning that we heard earlier, lots of programs like that on Humanity Stream Plus. So for all of you in the studio here, and I'll wave at you because we can see some of you on camera, some of you are off camera, check out Jonathan and Andi's programs. Go to the search feature on Humanity Stream Plus and go check all of that stuff out. You can play those things all day long, and do go to their World Sound Healing Day site also. They have just incredible programs, and they're dear friends, and do avail yourself of these programs if you're part of Stream. But also, just so you guys know, because many of you maybe don't, with all the new campaigns, we are now bringing people in at the $299 a year pricing, or $29.99 a month. So it's reduced pricing. And for all of you that are Stream members, you're going to renew at that rate. So we're a 501c3 nonprofit. Our whole team, it's the opposite of a for-profit. We're a for-profit saying, when can we got to get our top line up and our bottom line up. And the nonprofit says, when are we getting that price down again so we get into more homes on the planet? So that's our whole thing. Of course, we have a one-for-one program where we give it away too, right? So yeah, check out on all these new campaigns. You can now come into Stream at this new pricing that makes it affordable for people all over the planet, especially where we're giving it away to people that really just can't afford it at all. Now, we only have a couple of minutes, and you all have this huge day, the 22nd World Sound Healing Day. Jonathan and Andi, what's your call to action here as we're wrapping up this program here?
Be kind to yourself, be kind to the planet. We want to be in gratitude to you and Humanity's team for our continued co-creative efforts together. We got soon an upcoming new fabulous workshop presentation we're going to be doing for you. And every month we do a sound satsang. The next one's going to be on the fabulous March equinox, and that's a great one that we do with you. So it's an honor to be working with you for the higher betterment of all.
Oh, and I just want to say that just to hold in our hearts compassionate understanding, compassionate listening, and just
compassionate dialogue.
And let's just be kind to each other. And today and every day really is World Sound Healing Day. But thank you so much, Steve and Humanity's team, for giving us this beautiful opportunity to share World Sound Healing Day with so many people. It is such a blessing, and we are grateful.
We heal the planet.
We heal ourselves.
We heal ourselves.
And we heal the planet.
We are so grateful to be with you all. And of course, this was a special. We don't start our program at 8:30 Pacific, but we did today because it's a very special day. So thank you all so much for being here. And viewers, thank you all for being here. And let's remember, too, just one other feature as we talk about our bigger self. When we move our separated self out of the center of the universe, which is kind of how we grow up there, it's all about me, 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 right? Once we move that separated self out to the spiritual universe, this vibrational universe, we become warmed by the light of the divine. That's what a spiritual universe is, love, light, healing, health, well-being, all of these things, compassion, service, these things just all come naturally. That's what a spiritual universe and a vibrational universe is. So yes, that's what we're devoted to here. There are, of course, many beautiful people all over the world. Try and give them a microphone every week as we do these live programs, so we can all start living into this greater possibility. And before we transition and go back to the absolute realm, the non-physical realm, boy, let's make sure we're enjoying life to its fullest. That's what we're talking about here. That's what Humanity's team and World Sound Healing Day are about, just living into our higher and fuller possibility. And it can be quite dreamy, actually. And thus, Valentine's Day is hosting World Sound Healing Day. Okay, thank you all so much. Jonathan and Andi Goldman, thank you. Thank you. I'm going to wave too. I can see some of you on camera in the studio. So thank you all for being, there you go, waving back. Thanks for being with us live, and even people with your cameras off, and people out there, again, John Raymer and Sign.Network, World Sound Healers Association, Humanity's team, Humanity Stream Plus, all of you. Thanks so much for being with us, and we'll be back with you live next week at our normal time, 9 a.m. Pacific. Peace and love and blessings, everybody. Have a great day. Mwah.